talked about the crooked deals, I'll show you some crooked shuffles. You know, among card mechanics, that is sleight of hand card cheats, the ones who acquire the highest reputations among their peers are the ones who master skills that actually go much further than anything you'd ever need to make a good living playing cards. They do it basically for the love of sleight of hand. And along those lines, I'll show you one example of a technique that I often demonstrate when I have a session with another card mechanic. I'll show you what it means to stack the deck. Let's assume that instead of controlling 3 jacks to the top of the deck, I've controlled 4 aces to the top of the deck, because whatever cards you stack always have to begin on top of the deck. I'm going to give these cards a series of shuffles, and during these shuffles, I am not going to be primarily concerned with mixing the cards. I'm going to be primarily concerned with repositioning those aces so that when I deal, I get the aces. Now, at this point, the deck would have to be cut. We can go into that later if we have the time, but first let's just see if the stack works. I stacked for a 5-handed game of draw poker. And you see who received the ace. Notice the cards all come off the top of the deck. I can afford to deal honestly because I shuffled crookedly. And that's what's known as stacking a poker hand. And that's really the only skill, thank you. That's really the only skill you would need to make a good living from the card table for the rest of your life. But I'm going to take it a step further. Right, just that. But I'm going to take it a step further. I'll attempt to. Did you happen to notice how many shuffles that took by any chance?
Not at all.
It took 4 shuffles, if you were counting, because I stacked 1 ace on each shuffle. I'll try to do something for you which is twice as fast as that. Unfortunately, it's about twice as difficult, because I'm going to try to do the same thing for you in only 2 shuffles. And I will start with the 4 aces on top of the deck, again, because whatever cards you're going to stack should always begin on top of the deck. See, the aces are still on top. On the first shuffle alone, 2 aces are stacked. If I can lay in the last 2 aces on this shuffle, I'll be set. I'm set. Now, I realize that if you don't know a great deal about card manipulation, this probably seems extremely difficult. Of course, if you do know a great deal about card manipulation, it seems totally impossible. Now, since I only shuffle twice, that means that on the first shuffle alone, this much was accomplished, while on the second shuffle I stacked these 2 aces. Thank you. But I'm going to try to take it one final step further. I'll show you something that's twice as fast as that. Unfortunately, it's far more than twice as difficult, because I'm going to try to do the same thing for you in only 1 shuffle. And once again, I'll start with the 4 aces on top of the deck, because whatever cards you're going to stack should always begin on top of the deck. 1 shuffle and those aces will end up in my poker hand. It usually takes me 3 seconds or less. That is from the instant my fingers first touch the deck to the instant they move away. And to make it a little more of a challenge, I'm going to try to do this with my eyes closed. That is 3 seconds or less from the instant my fingers first touch the deck to the instant they move away. Now, I realize this probably seems extremely difficult, but I promise that any one of you could learn how to do this with only a half hour of practice. Every day for the next 20 years. Now, of course, in a poker game, you're dealt 5 cards. That is, you're dealt 5 cards, but it doesn't matter what the 5th card is as long as the other 4 cards are all